The seventh financial rule. Today we are going to talk about the financial and then, which is almost the second to the last topic we're going to treat in this series. And today we are going to talk deeply on seven financial rule. I know that in the school of finances and business and economics, we have listened and learned to we have learned many financial rules here and there, but today we are going to talk about these seven special financial rules, not because of everything are alien or we have not heard it before, but because it is going to be useful also for our financial journey. So these seven golden rules are capable of vetoing and guiding and correcting, and also constructing our financial abilities towards financial freedom. So anyone who abides by these seven golden rules must have must have a robust, uh, positive financial result in a space of time, and depending on the ratio of obedience from affected individuals. So it depends on how individuals are perfect and how they are obedience to this rule. And I always find that I always say this anytime I want to talk about the issue of financial is that financial does not mean that people are not actually having money. Our problem majorly is actually skills in handling the money so that the money will be useful for us. Sometimes the little that we are earning as humans are actually enough for a starting or to bring a financial journey into a wholesome goal. But because we don't have skills to manage the resources, and to multiply them. That is why many people they were being uh, dropped or they were being pegged at a particular stage. So in this video, we're going to talk deeply about uh, financial. Uh, then let's get started. Rule number one. Number one, live below your means. Rule number one, live below your means. I know that many people you must have heard this word many times, time and again, and you have been wondering what does it mean to live below my means. What are the adverse effects that comes about living below your means? Uh, I will I will talk uh, deeply on it and also give a conscious effect on the issue. So live below your means. Now, it is advisable to keep 10 steps below your true worth. It is advisable to keep at least 10 steps below your true worth. This will help you manage the psychological effect that comes through money. There's a psychological effect that come with money. There is a negative, let me there's a negative psychological effect that comes with money. It will give you balance and free you up from unnecessary competitions and from colleagues and from people who spend anyhow or who spend to prove. So it is advisable in any financial school that you live below your means. Also, living below your real worth always gives you a structural financial limit. Yeah. And whenever you spend above it, it will caution you imminently. It will caution you immediately. So people who live after this pattern are always free from debt. I found out the people who lived after this pattern are always free from debt, they are always free from pain, they are always free from mismanagement of funds, they are always free from unhealthy impressions and unplanned spending. So when you learn to live uh, below your means, at least 10 steps below your means, you are going to uh, be free from any debt In fact, there will not even be any reason to enter debt anyhow. Also, it is advisable to live below. There are a lot of financial standards that many financial schools have talked about, and also they have given us how to live. And one of those things that affect us is actually the Parkinson law. And I've talked about this law many times, and I'll still repeat again that the Parkinson law suggests to us that when we are a particular stage of income, particular suggests that when people are at a particular stage of income, by the time their income increase, they want to increase their lifestyle to meet that income. That is, every human have tendencies to begin to improve and increase their lifestyle to meet the particular income they are having. For example, so when Parkinson law says if you are earning 100,000 and what you are living on is actually around that 100,000, that is, by the time you now increase or your income increase or salary increase to 150,000, Parkinson law says instead of you to still maintain that 100,000 status quo and use the extra 50,000 income as a investment or savings to balance yourself for the future, Parkinson law said people begin to live or increase their spending, increase their lifestyle to meet up with their new income. That means somebody who is living in two-bedroom flats begin to increase to three-bedroom flats. Somebody who is using one car want to increase his two car. Somebody who is using maybe 10 clothes in his wardrobe, he want to increase it to 15 clothes. Maybe using one phone before, he wants to use two phones. Every utility bills increased. Everything around them begin to increase to show that uh, they have increased in earning or they have increased in their income. So when people don't learn how to maintain their current stage as they improve financially, then it become a problem. That is why it is always said that every time you must learn to live below your means. Furthermore, it is advisable to live at least 10 steps below your true worth. So that in the day you step out as a millionaire, in the day you step out as a billionaire, you it will reflect all over you that you just become a millionaire yesterday, but it happens a long time ago because of the maturity you exhibit to society. So people don't know that living below your means actually means that by the time people get to know that you are a millionaire, you're already far, far more than a billionaire, maybe even close to billions, depending on your true net worth. That means you never live a lifestyle your level of growth cannot maintain, because it's very possible that people are living in a lifestyle that their growth cannot maintain. They are living a lifestyle that their mental capacity cannot explain. And it shows people that are truly uh, wealthy, they are truly uh, uh, financially free. There's a way they live, there's a calmness, there is this maturity they display around money that make them know that these people they are just living low key, but actually they are actually rich. Yeah, that you see people like that. Their maturity in handling money, you see it. They don't rush. They don't buy or spend anyhow. They spend wisely, and whatever they spend on is actually genuine and towards their growth. So the first thing you must know and you must do is actually you must learn how to live below your means. And that means that everything you want to spend or your spending gauge every year must be at a particular stage. It must not go higher. Maybe come down little depending on what you are saving for, but it must not go higher, because uh if you go higher, it's going to affect you and you're going to live on debt perpetually. You see that now. So living below your means is actually one of the old archaic financial rules that many people have been following and have been help people. Sometimes it may not be as big as what you think it is, but actually it is actually commendable and it's help people to at least stay within their means while they are hoping for growth on their financial life. So living below your means is the first financial rule everybody must work with. The second financial rule you must obey is the one of the good financial rules I've learned over time, and it says do not set your living and financial plans on loan and borrowing. The second golden rule you must obey is do not set your living and your financial plan on loans and borrowing. Uh, for a long time, I've been an advocate of how people can start from the beginning. And I always say this thing that the first thing or the first way a man can start from is to solve hunger issue. By the time a man can afford his meal and he can afford shelter, that is the first step. Any other things no matter. So when a man can afford his meal and he can afford shelter, that is step one. Then it is from that step that we are going to proceed. But I found that as simple as what I said, that step one becomes so difficult around the world today because the level of hunger and famine and problem and shelter issue that have been uh, plaguing the world right now, especially in the third world countries, is very alarming. It is very alarming, very alarming. So, and one thing you must not do if you want to come out of that grip is that you must not set your living and your financial plan around borrowing or around loan. It's very critical. And no, sometimes we have a remodeled kind of loan, remodeled kind of borrowing today, especially from those fintechs, and then they begin to remodel it. In fact, they make it even easier to pay. And even in the first world country, you will see things like credit card, and then it's still a remodeled kind of loan trap and borrowing trap that have we have been seeing all through. You see that now. So um, one mistake you must not do that. Do not borrow loans to live, and do not borrow high interest loan. In both ways, you must not even borrow at all. You see, whenever you are budgeting or proposing any financial plans, avoid borrowing high rate loans or avoid borrowing at all. All these improper financial plans are the road that lead to unending debt in the future. So one of the things that if we are not conscious for, sometimes I said it around the issue of debt, that debts are not always unconscious things, because I believe to some extent that debt has spiritual applications. Yes, it do, but sometimes it is just ignorance of many people that leads them into debt. Their ignorance. So uh, debts become the undoing of many people. Conscious, anything you know how to fight debt, please that fight it. And then I always claim steps how to go out of debt, and many of them what to go naturally is first started reducing it. Sometimes depending on the debt people have, but some enormous debts you can't, except by divine intervention. uh, there are some ways that the only way you can come out of that debt is started reducing it. You may not be able to come out immediately or come out at once. So one thing you can do is start reducing it, especially if you debt that does not accumulate in interest. Aha. So the first thing you have to do is to begin to reduce it, and the only way you can reduce it is to first stop entering debt first. Because once you are stop entering debt, then you are beginning to even fight debt as begin. So if you are borrowing or you are loaning money from people to fix your feeding everything, number one is first show that you are a lazy person. Because if you are hardworking enough, to some extent, you should be able to solve feeding issue. There may be ordinary other things that you're able to solve depending on how they are and depending on the income you receive. But at least if a man work enough, he should be able to feed himself at parallel level. And that's where the journey of finances begins. That means you must first make money to first feed yourself, that's able to feed you. And I'm talking about you are feeding 3 meals per day. I'm talking about a meal, any meal that is able to make you effective at the initial stage. At initial stage. So you can earn money and then that money should be able to cater for feeding first and then shelter. Then any other things be sorted out because most of if uh, you are attempting loan or anything and that loan is going to food, something is wrong. Me, I believe that even if somebody will enter debt, in financial world, it's what we call good debt and bad debt and bad debt. And the reason why they say good debt happens or they give that loophole was because uh, good debt is a debt that you incur on yourself to make more money and pay the debt later. That means I saw an investment that gave a good ROI. I borrow to do it. After I get my interest back, I get capital to use it. It maybe little instead that came with it. Then I keep the remaining money. So that is why people say, okay, there's a place whereby they have good debt. People don't borrow to just go and hit hands. There's something wrong. Don't get me wrong. You see that now. So people must work enough to at least be able to cater for what they can. So plan and live on low budget financial plans. And do not live to impress people. Budget a low fund for expenses that based on your financial capacities. And you must stop buying expensive materials that goes beyond your financial limits. So, and one of the things that you can keep yourself away from this issue is to don't buy anything that go beyond your financial limit. Sometimes people say you should go and buy iPhone. Number one, if you buy iPhone, you don't even know what to use to iPhone to do. Number two, iPhone is actually expensive beyond many people's, in fact, beyond million of people's capacity. So people save up and save up, gather people's money, borrow to buy. And it's not that they want to buy the phone even to make more money, just to buy to impress. You know, if you buy it now to make more money, I could say, okay, you're making a good investment. At least the phone is going to bring you more money in the future. But the phone is not even actually bringing you more money. You are just trying to make things for yourself, which is very wrong. So you must avoid any material that go beyond your limit. Everybody knows their limit. I know my limit. And I always try not to spend beyond it. Always. So you must avoid high cost materials that can damage your finances. Some materials, they are actually very costly to the extent that they can damage your financial plan. You know, money supposed to use to maybe buy 3 or 4 things or 5 gadgets that are going to aid you and make you become more effective. You are going to buy one gadget. Do that now. Sometimes costly materials that does not bring money is not needed in your life. You know, you have costly wristwatches, keeping watches that keeping time that nobody is losing. Do that now. Costly bags, costly clothes, shoes, ring, chains, electronic gadgets, phones. To some extent, they are necessary. So you see that now. So you must always know your limit. If you do not have it yet, you must have to set it for yourself. You see, one of the things that a man can help himself financially is be to set financial limits. You must start setting financial limits. It's very, very important because failure to set financial limits, you're going to live beyond boundary. And when a man don't know their boundary, they begin to go anywhere anyhow. They begin to do things anyhow because they don't know their limit, they don't know their boundary. So you must set your budget on the little you have and be contented with it. and always seek to plan your finances around available resources. That is where it starts, not on borrow funds. I speak to many people financially. Don't forget about millions or billions dream about. The first step is what you have now. How can you manage it? That's the first thing. That those who are thing you are dreaming for, you want to have, you have not, it's not with you yet. So the first thing that the available ones now, how can I make it enough for where I am? So when that one is not enough, I've planned, I've tried to cut down expenses, cut down things that are beyond my capacity. When you that one is sort out, that means as you begin to move in life, you cannot begin to aim for greater one, and you believe that all your basic needs are being met depending on how you have planned yourself. But people have not even planned on the available world. They are trying to. That's why people get punished. They enter trouble. They are depressed. They are because they are going too high and we have not solved the initial problem. So many have run into bankruptcy. They are running to debt. They have lost, and because their plan are too enormous to reach, and they have settled they have to settle their standing from the borrow during their budgeting. So you must create budget. Creating budget on borrow fund is a bad financial habit. You have to stop it. Creating budget on borrow funds is a bad financial habit. If you don't know how to set your financial plan without borrowing or loaning being attached, then you are not skillful in finances yet. In fact, you shouldn't be talking about financial freedom, because before financial freedom is financial stability. And I always say this thing, that you can't experience financial freedom until you first experience financial stability. You must be stable first, and stability comes from what you are, what you have, what you can do about it, no matter how small it is. So when if you now plan it how small it is, then you can be able to aim for more. That means if I have an income of 50,000, and then I have to plan myself how to be enough for me in a month, even though it's not enough, but I have to cut the cut across 1 month. If that money can cater for just 1 meal per day, I will know that at least every day 1 meal per day is sure for me. 2 or 3 meals may not come, but I know that at least if I wake up in the morning, 1 meal per day are sure for me. Then I can begin to aim higher and say, okay, I want to improve my income, and then I can now go up for 2 meals per day. That's a life increase. Not because I just want to spend the whole 50,000 in 2 weeks, and then begin to borrow to sustain the new 2 weeks. That's wrong. Because I know that before I will get paid again, it should be after 1 month. So I have to plan that money to cut across 1 month. Then hoping that there will be advantage for me to scale higher. Do that now. So rule number 3, you must monitor all your spending and examine them. Very, very important. I think when people have done very bad in this area, they don't monitor their expenses and they don't examine them. It is expedient for you to monitor and track and record all your spendings on daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Me, I know that I have freedom to spend at least a certain amount every day, every week, every month. And not even to spend to impress. It's just basic needs. One of the things I've learned financially is that I hate basic needs not met. I hate it. That's why I may not quickly spending on clothes, spending on shoes, spending on this, but daily needs, it has to be met, because if it's not met, it's going to affect your efficiency, affect your effectiveness, affect your well-being, affect your psychology. That's why I tell you that you don't need too many clothes. Who are you impressing? Let your daily need first needs. That's your starting from. All your little bills, just make sure you are meeting up with it. It will make you financially stable. It will make you psychologically stable. It will make you mentally stable. And then from that point, you begin to haymire. Some people many times, and I hate it because people just want to be aiming a big space whereby they are suffering. And at the end of the day, they will lack the morale, they will lack the psychological, the atmosphere will conducive for them to scale higher because they are living in a hostile environment, hostile atmosphere, hostile kind of place, society, whereby even their basic needs of daily is not met. And they want to go financially. This kind of record will give you a red line alert if you are spending too much, or a green light if your spending is still within the reasonable level. So you will know that whether your uh, spending have reached the red line or your spending is still within the range. You see that now. And I tell you that most of your spending should be on your basic need. If you are starting financially, basic need. There is nothing that concerns you with expensive things. It doesn't concern you. A time will come, you are going to buy more than enough. People are buying expensive things, but they are dying at home. They can't even take care of themselves properly. See that now. So if you request for a back statement of account on monthly basis to track all your spending, you will depend from how you have been spending unnecessarily. And also you will see the transaction you made by emotions and feelings during the period of 1 month. You see that now. I said many times that if you want to know how good or how bad you are, your monthly account statement will show it. No matter many times we spend out of emotion, we spend out from feelings, we just go to the market, we just buy things that we don't need because it was beautiful in our eyes and begin to spend on it. And then we have forgotten. But by the time you get to know at the end of the month, you're going to see how far you have spent aimlessly and recklessly. So when people don't monitor their spending and examine them, they even begin to doubt God because sometimes God may be blessing you that is enough for you. But because you don't have management skill, you don't know how to even maintain the little you have. And what I know about God, God only bless managers. He bless who have financial management skills. If you don't know how to manage, I'm talking about manage. It's not just you manage this thing, manage that thing. That is not no. I'm talking about what God gives you. You can spend it well. You can spend it accurately. You can show God that this is what you gave me. This is what I spent to easy to do, and then come to okay, since you can manage a little, then you are now qualified for more. So now, so a parent that does not manage one city, God cannot trust you with 10 cities. And the how God says well done to a man that it increases what he gives to you as a proof that okay you have done well. How God says well done to a man is increased responsibility, increase in task. That means what you have done it well. So I have all liberty to increase your task because I can now begin to trust you that you are a faithful steward, you are a faithful servant. You have proved to me that you can manage what I give to you. That means if I put 10 things to your hand, I believe, and when by the time God put 10 things to your hand and you actually manage it well, you will not be afraid to put 100. Yeah, that is why I tell people that the little that God gives to you, prove to God that you are actually using it well. Prove to God. Bible says you should prove yourself. A work cannot be ashamed. You should prove yourself. You should prove to God that see what you give to me, see how I managed it, and God too will be impressed. God will be impressed. So you must monitor your spending and examine them correctly, and know where you are doing well and when you are doing wrong. So you know what you are spending upon that you don't need. You know what you are spending upon that you need. See that now. And I always say your spending starts for your basic needs. I will still repeating that thing. Your spending starts for your basic needs. There's nothing that concerns you with the latest phone. Aha. The one that is in your hand has not spoiled. People like me, I spend on phone every 3 or 4 years. That's how frugal I am. Not because there's no latest from between 3 or 4 years, but because the one I have still serve me at least. You see that now. So anything that does not, I don't like the idea of buying phone every 6 months or 1 year, changing phone. Phone is not as important gadget to me, and that's how it is for many people. People that I know that they need phones, people that are doing computer or tech things, or people that are doing business that people need to be reaching out to. Many people they're just with expensive phone. Nobody's calling them. Nobody's even chatting them. They're just online watching people's status, wasting data, going on TikTok and be laughing and watching memes. The phone is not even productive in their hand. See that now. It's not even ready for the kingdom. They're not using to provide evangelism. Then they're not chatting people online to give their life to Christ. It's just useless. See that now. You will see how far you have gone and how far you are lacking behind when you monitor all your spending, and also when you begin to examine them accurately. Examine them accurately is very, very important. So you must learn. The third rule says you must monitor all your spending and examine them. Examine means you must check if you are doing well or you are doing wrong. So the fourth rule is that always save before you spend. Always save before you spend. Always save before you spend. And that is the fourth golden rule that many people have to work upon. You have to always save before you spend. And what does that mean? It means that it's a principle and also it's a rule. You must save at least 10% of what you earn in a month or in a week or in a day. It depends on how you structure it. So savings is not a, a static rule. It's just how convenient it is for the person who wants to save. So if it keeps your financial status healthy, so when you save from what you earn, it keeps your financial status healthy. Also, it is financially advisable for you to always save before you spend. And I believe that many people they always spend before they save. They do that way around. But the proper way of money or handling money is actually saving before you spend. This consciousness must be in you always, that not all the money that comes into your hand must be spent. So you must have this consciousness always that not all the money that comes into your hand must be spent. So if it must be spent, then something must go into saving, no matter how small it is. I say people that savings uh, is as a culture, savings is also as a lifestyle. I tell you that savings is as structured as what you think it is or how you believe it is. Many a times, I used to tell people that when we talk about saving, we're not talking about uh, how you feel things or how you do it. It's just that how you feel comfortable doing it. Because savings, in the first instance, is not about how much you save, it's about how convenient it is for you to stay consistent. Because when consistency is in a thing, it becomes habitual. And when you have formed a habit about the things, that means it is convenient for you to do. So savings is not just about the amount you save first, but how convenient it is. So no matter how small it is, you must learn that before I spend on any other things, a small portion or a certain portion must go to a savings account or a savings vault or a saving piggy bank. See that now. So whenever money comes into your hand, always remember this simple principle. I will repeat it that the simple principle is that 10% is for God, 20% is for savings or investment, and the remaining 70% for your spending. The remaining 70% is for your spending. You see that now? So that is what we call the 10-20-70 principle rule. The 10-20-70 principle rule. It is a principle that will give you financial foresight even when you do not have one before. So when any money comes into your hand, you must learn and know that 10% of it is for God, 20% of it is for savings, then 70%, which is a larger chunk of it, is for spending. That means your spending, which is comprises of your budget, your plans, your financial goals, that 70% must go to it. So, and always remember this principle in the order of priority, that God first, savings next, then spending is the last. Many people, what they do is that they first do spending first. They now do little savings. They don't even remember God at all. Sometimes they remember God in the middle when they are almost finished spending the money. See that now? So the thing is that we turn the thing upside down. We turn the rule upside down, which is which is very bad. So don't forget, it is important to your financial life that you structure it from God, which is the smallest part of the money, then to savings, which is the next, then the larger chunk of the money rather is actually meant for uh your savings, it's meant for your spending rather. So you must set a long-term and a short-term investment plan that suit the total level of income you receive monthly. So you must set a long-term and a short-term investment plan that suit the total level of income you receive monthly. So if we say that, okay, money comes to your hand, we are talking about the short-term goal of the money and the long-term goal of money. So when you practice this often, you will watch your savings grow and become a river. Whatever you can run to when the other wells became dry. So it's like practicing savings is like an emergency fund when other sources are not available. You see that now? So when you practice savings, it's like you are dropping a drop of water into a large uh a large container. As water keep dropping, it does not look significant, and sometimes it does not even look uh does not even really mean that you are even moving forward. But as long as the water keep dropping, a time will come you will meet the rubber or the container at a mid level. That means that what you think is not significant is actually amount to a large chunk of money. That now. So savings is like you are dropping water inside the container. Dropping water inside the container. It will not look fast. It will not look meaningful. It will not even make sense. But as long as the water keep dropping, eventually that container will be full. Eventually. The only thing in that order is time. So the reason why people don't actually see savings as a work is that, or as a principle, is that they feel that it's a long process. Number two, it does not really move fast. Number three, it does not even pleasure people to the day. People are not patient. And how I will know that you are going to become financially stable is that your patience around money, your patience to things like savings will tell and will show that you actually understand finances. That is why there is no burst way, uh, there is no broad way, as it were, to money. It's just simple steps with patience that will bring you stability and later become financial freedom. So if you practice savings, you are actually telling yourself that, okay, this part of the money is meant for it. And then in the day where there's emergencies or there's a problem or there's a critical health issue, or uh, there's an issue that arises that need some certain kind of money. In fact, before people get to rally around for you, try to find money for you, there's a amount of money that is already needed or available rather to do what you want to do at that time. So there is already amount of money that is available that can help you aid some certain circumstances. So that is why practicing savings before you spend is very important. You will always have something to spend on, and that's how I'm going to use to finish that point. You will always have something to spend on. Always, you will always have something to spend on. Always, no matter how simple or how big it is, you will always have something to spend on. Always. So your spending will never finish. Especially on basic needs. You want to food, clothing, shelter, transport, utility bills like electricity and all of that. You will always have something to spend on. So have it in mind that your spending cannot end. So when you know this that this thing is not end anytime soon, so you must learn to first put something aside first, because no matter how much you earn, it will still be going to be spent. So your spending is insatiable, it is everlasting thing. So in order not to put yourself in the trap of spending all, you must try to put something aside that when you spend, you only know that salary will still come in or income will still come in that will continue spending. But something must be set aside for the day of trouble. So that's number 4 rule. Number 5 rule is that you must have investment plan. You must have investment plan. Always have a mindset to invest whenever you have money. And these are the things that people don't actually want to, or they don't believe in, or they don't understand how it works. Always have a mindset to invest whenever you have money. There are some people, whenever money comes in their hand, they only think about spending, but never think about investment. And sometimes, if you follow the last rule, the savings, it can also be a saving onto investment. You can save to invest. It may not be easy for you to carry large chunk of money and put it somewhere and say you want to do savings. It may not be easy. You see that now, but it can be easy for you if you are ready to invest. You can save up for it without even tampering with your spending or your financial budget. So you must seek to invest on well-researched and legitimate business. Note my word. I said well-researched and legitimate business that can yield returns or short-time basis ranging between 1 month to 6 months. Remember, I said legitimate business and well-researched. Don't just put your money because somebody says, something's going right now, let me do something quickly. No, 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 don't do that. You must be ready and you must learn to find out, is this legitimate? So you must have, don't just put your money anywhere anyhow. It's wrong. It's wrong. And you must learn to put money in investments in two phases. There are one for short time and there are one for long term. Because this will take care of your immediate expenses. When you put money on short term investment, it will take care of your immediate expenses that give you opportunity to invest again on time. So the benefits and the advantage of short-term investment is that it will give you the benefits of receiving your interest, and you can use it for some expenses, some budget. You can make some bills on ground, and also it can give you opportunity to reinvest fast. Do that now, so you can double the interest, you can double down. Maybe you carry both the interest and capital again and reinvest again. So it gives you opportunity. And then also you must invest on business that yield returns on long-term basis. Now you know long-term ranging between 1 year to 3 years. Some are between 2 years to 5 years and so on, depending on the scale of business or the kind of business you want to do. So this will help you build wealth for the future. So you must learn to do your research well before you venture into any business, especially when it comes to money market. I think business is so hard. I think money market is somehow, to some extent, straightforward, especially for this age whereby you can do everything on your app of your phone. You can do fixed deposit, you can do treasury bills, there are many apps, there are many fintechs that actually make this, they have become the middle ground between these things. See that now. So you can invest and you can do that for reinvesting, and then you can do that for helping your income go broader. Investment make your income grow broader. That's why there is no rich man or a wealthy man today that does not put his or her money in one investment or the other, because that's how the money multiplies. I can always tell you that money is being hoarded, money is being not flowing, because it's called currency. It's called currency. You want to move from one place to another. Money want to work. Money is not an idle um, object. Money is created in such a way that he loves to walk around, he loves to do some certain things. Money loves to make things happen. That's how money works. So, and people don't know, people that are able to hoard money, they don't actually have more money. That's why every businessman, rich man, wealthy man, they are an investor. They want to put money in one thing or the other to make more money. They want to make the money work for them. Like I said that in last time, that sometimes you work for money, sometimes money works for you. Both can be the case. You see that now. So you must, this will help you build wealth for the future, and you must do your research well before you venture to any business. You must do your research well before you venture into any money market. When your research is not made, or uh, you are not well researched, you are not well informed, you are going to make many mistakes. In fact, you can put your money in a business or in a money market that want to crash. There's a company that want to crash down. They are already near bankruptcy, and they're still selling their stock, or they are sharing, they are storing, selling their shares. That doesn't mean that they are still a good business. So never borrow huge bank loans to start investment for the first time. It's very bad. Or rather borrow from friends if needed be. Because and lastly, do where to invest more in assets, in valuable like gold, diamonds, and other precious stones, real estate also, and landed properties as well. They are good investments. You can also invest by buying shares listed on stock markets exchange or brokers. So, and the best time to invest is now. So don't borrow money from bank to invest, because when you borrow from bank, they are going to charge you uh, interest. And what you go and invest to, the interest will not be even more up to what bank will borrow you. That's why it's good to save to invest, because it's your money. And if there is any need to even borrow at all, maybe from friends or family, those ones, even if you owe them money, they don't know anything to do for you. They have to just endure with you till you have your capital back and pay them back if needed be. So if there's a need, it's from family and friends. If there's a need at all, don't go near bank to borrow, because the collateral and everything they're going to ask you is very and don't go to loan sharks, those fintech that command huge interest in 7 days or 15 days. That's even wrong loan. How can you borrow something from two people and you pay back in 7 days? If that's something they make money, will I come to borrow you? Will I come to borrow from you? See that kind of thing now. It's even dubious. If I know I have 7 days to make money or to have money, will I come to you go and borrow? You know, the time scale of repaying back self is insane. It does not make sense. See that now. So also, don't invest in money market alone. There are valuables like gold. You can buy gold, keep, resell. Diamonds. There are many precious stones. See that now. Also, real estate, landed properties. People are buying large chunk of land, and then they begin to resell. Some people are putting their large money into developing real estate. They can buy as many acres and even hectares, and then they do land planning. They cut the place, they cut the grass. Everything is well organized, well arranged. They cut the plots, and they bring out a layer and a plan. Where the road is, they did everything correctly. They from people go and buy street lights, they make everything comfortable. Your own is to buy land and build. Every other what do you call it now? Every other certificate, paperwork, they have done that one with the government. Everything, so that your own is just to buy from them. You know, all the CFO, it's only when you are buying from any people anyhow, you are going to go through the stress of buying anyhow. But there at a real estate mogul want to sell for you, they have done everything on your behalf. Your own is just to pay and start building. And this is what people buy from there, is that their land is free of a lot of issues, because a lot of scam. You are free because of people they are selling family property. They say to you after a while, they say they want to collect the land back because somebody from family that said this. It's not that full family agreed to it. See that now. So that's why it must be well researched. You must know what you are putting your money into. And you can buy shares as well on stock exchange website, or from brokers. They can help you with that. See that now. So, and the best time to invest is actually now. So the fifth one is to have investment plan. That's the fifth rule. Have investment plan. So you must learn how to invest on well researched and legitimate business or legitimate investment plan. Don't forget. Rule number 6: you must stop trying to get rich quickly. Stop trying to get rich quickly. I think many people have been guilty of this rule, and then many believers are guilty of it as well. The rule did not say you should not get rich. It said do not get rich quickly. And because people have hasty eyes to what process can bring into their lives, and it takes a lot of conscious effort to actually not put yourself in that same pedestal. So you must correct the attitude of getting rich quickly. You have to correct the attitude of getting rich quickly. Why? Because it will set you on the highway of haste without a speed limit. Yeah, it will set you on the high haste, or the highway of waste of haste without speed limit. Imagine a car who have been over speeding on a highway, uh, but does not know that overspeeding kills, because there's no rule that give it. That's why in many advanced countries, there are kilometers, there are certain speed you can't make at a certain pedestal, because they want to safeguard the life of people, and they want to make people to be free from every road hazard or accident that may occur. So it will set you on the highway of haste without speed limit, and in the end it kills. So many people are always in a hurry to get rich, even if they compromise their faith. And that is why many times when people feel it is time for them to get rich, they want to do it hastily. And I always say it, that there's no rich man or a wealthy person who build wealth from the scratch that did it in 1 year or 2 years. It actually takes time. But I found out that many people are too hasty. There is this quick consciousness that we have, and there is haste where people neglect process. People want to get it done in any way possible, which is very, very bad. And that is the problem we have been having with people, especially Christians who want to approach the issue of wealth. So rule number 6 says you should stop trying to get rich quickly. Remove hastiness from your mentality. And I always say it, getting rich is never a do or die affair. But people don't know this. That getting rich is never a do or die affair. You have to be cautious. Creating wealth is a journey. Creating wealth is actually a journey that requires a lot of patience to see the results. It requires a lot of patience to see the results. It takes time to see all the financial principles to work. It takes time. And sometimes you may have to be patient and courageous to decide for repeated change of action. So you have to be courageous and decide for repeated action. That is why people always say that this principle you told me about does not work. Sometimes it's not because they teach you wrong thing or what they taught you is not work. It's because some principles need repeated application before they work. E.g., the issue of tithing. And this because the way people teach tithing is like they want to teach what to put money, and next we are going to reap what you sow. That's not how tithing works. And anybody who try to do like that is just a scammer. That's not how God reward. And many times God is what that chooses what a reward and the time you come to reward. So you can't give God time. So and before the Lord starts doing work for you, you have to take repeated action. Repeated actions. So likewise in investment as well, business or value offered always take time before it become an acceptable brand or it yield a profitable return. So when you are doing business, it takes time before you become a real brand people can patronize, or a real brand that people can become familiar with, or that can become a household name. It takes time. You can't start a business today and want to become a big brand tomorrow. It takes time. Also, likewise, it is for investment. So you don't put money today and you want to reap high yield tomorrow. It takes time. But from money market investment, you have to take 1 year before you can actually have 10% of or 12% or 15%. That now imagine you wait the whole 365 days for you just to have uh, a 50% interest on your money. That's how patient you have to be. But people don't want to follow that kind of order. And that's how it is. The Bible says, "A faithful man shall abound with blessings, he that make haste to be rich shall be innocent." And also saying in book of Proverbs 28, verse 20 to 22, he said, "He that hasted to be rich had an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him." Anybody that have hasty eyes to wealth, they always become poor. You have to be poor because your eyes is too hasty about the issue of money. Very, very hasty about the issue of money. So the sixth rule says you must not be hasty and you must be patient. Everything follows process. And if there's anything at all that people have neglected in their pursuit in anything in life, even their path of success, people have neglected process a lot. And because they have seen people that have become top of their game, so they want to be like them in just 1 or 2 months, and they have not failed to ask. That's why it is good to read people biographies, bibliographies, autobiographies. Go and see how they start. Many of them they spend 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years before they can make meaningful of what they are doing. And what you see as a top journey today is something that started 30, 40 years ago. Many of them. But people don't want that, just believe that at a point in time you have to become rich. So this is why the race of wealth are won with slow and steady speed. The race of wealth are won with slow and steady speed. So you have to be slow and steady. And the only thing I can actualize and I can encourage you to do is that you have to keep going. You just have to move. It doesn't matter the level of speed, you have to move. So once movement is ascertained, then the speed does not matter. Because otherwise when you overspeed, you will not know when you have made mistake. You will not know when you have even go beyond where you're supposed to have taken a bend. You're just heading straight up. So the race and the rule of money of finances says you should stop trying to get rich quickly. And also the last rule, he said, allow God to be the foundation of your wealth. That's the last golden rule. You know that these rules are actually not only intellectual, they're actually kingdom principle. You must allow God to be the foundations of your wealth. This is the most common mistake that many believers do when they embark on their financial journey. They always think that the way of the Lord is always slow to wealth, and they always look for latest shortcut. dubious ways, even demonic ways to reroute their journey to financial Sabbath. But many of them failed woefully. Why? Why many on the other hand later end up selling their soul to Satan and they end up living their way in the midst of their days. Do that now. So people are not ready to allow God to be the author of their wealth. And sometimes along the line they want God to be the omega of it. The Bible says in Genesis 1 verse 1, it says, in the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. That means in the beginning, God was what has true. That is, there's nothing important in the beginning of anything without God being center of it. And so therefore, let God be the foundation of your wealth and not mammon. Let God be the foundation of everything you pursue, not yourself. You see, your safety and your guarantee of success and guarantee and safety that your soul be preserved is that God is the beginning of this. Anything that happened in the middle of the way does not matter, because even when you want to drift away, God has his own jealousy to guide you to right steps. Because God knows that human beings are full of frailties and we are a people of diverse of thought. So God has a way to make sure that you are still on the right track to finish your race. So allow God to be the author and the finisher, the Alpha and Omega of your finance. And let it be known to you that any money you found through unclean ways, and then you later come back to add God to the equation, can never be successful. It is an abomination. It can never become acceptable to God. It is an abomination. Any wealth that God does not start with you, He will never come to end it with you. Any wealth that God does not start with you, He will never come to end it with you. He is the king and He do things at His own terms and according to His own timing. So allow Him to find the financial journey with you, allow Him to start the financial journey with you, and I guarantee that you will have a soft landing at the end. So people should not have the mentality of let me start working and every day. And I remember this story of one day I was at the Bible study and people began to ask questions, and then one lady stood up and asked the question of that what if a person goes out and go and do money ritual or do something dubious or make money in the demonic way, and then he later repented and come to Jesus. Does that mean that God doesn't accept his money? And people begin to debate. I just stood there first. I don't want to put that kind of question. Once I talk, it will shut down a lot of things. So I sat down for other people to even talk first to first see how their hearts look like. And to my shock, I was actually right that many people's hearts are actually bad. See that now their heart are not genuine, are not transformed at all. Imagine a believer believing that God will continue a work that you start with Satan. I don't know I don't know the kind of sermon they are even listening to. I don't know the kind of believer they are. Now to stand up and tell them, for that person, God will save him, actually. But the work he caught of Satan, God will end it. And God will now start a new stream with you. Anything that God will not start with you, end with you. You can't start a project with Satan and God will come in the middle of it and end it. You know, I don't know what people just take God for. Maybe they take it for just a stupid person somewhere that is you can just supplant and outsmart him. Like, let me go and make money, let me go and do money ritual, and I will come back to God and now accept my money and live my life. You know, people are a joker. I say that God will end that money. In fact, that money will stop because the moment Satan finds that God has been added to his, he will stop the flow. Because light and darkness can cohabit. That is why people, when they give their life to Christ, a lot of them they did the darkness, it crumble. Because God will, when light comes into your life, anything that look like darkness will shut down. It's not that God even come to even end the money, or God even come to stop the flow. It's like when God appears to your life, when God comes to you, every other thing that does not look like him will stop working. He carry the ambience. The money we sell will stop because all the demons that are behind those money, they will run away from you because a greater light has come, and it is God that is going to brought you to his. Now the question is now that are you ready to follow God's process, or you want to follow yourself? That's what the question is. But that God will continue what Satan started. And likewise, Satan will not continue what God started. He too will ruin it. See that now. So both of them cannot drive the same ship at the same time or continue the process. One thing that we just do is that Satan is more advantageous when God starts a thing, because he will corrupt it, and he begin to use it as though it was God using it. When it comes to God matter, God will not continue what Satan started. He will crumble it and start a new process. But Satan is so smart. Even when God starts a thing, he can use it to his own advantage and continue the process to look as though it was God that started it. Whereas people that are high in spirit will know that this thing is not God anymore. Satan, and at the end of the day, it will be so obvious that God is no more there. That is why when God begins to use a man of God, and in the middle and the journey, he get drifted, people will still know that this man have drifted away. They will know. So, and that's how it is in finances. So you must allow God to be the beginning, so that He will be the end. And if God be the beginning, He has a way to preempt everything and to make you still on the right track. If you will follow Him, because when God stopped working, it does not mean that it's God that stopped. It's because man refused to follow. Man begin to disobey. Man begin to disrespect. Man begin to rebel. So those are the things that happen when God is no longer the process that He started with a man. But fortunately, the problem is always with man. So these are the 7 financial rules that you must inculcate in your lifestyle. You must inculcate in your finances. That if you want to start, you must learn the 7 rules. Let me give for recap again. Number 1, you must learn to live below your means. 2, you must not set your living and your financial plans on loan and borrowing. And number 3, you must monitor all your spending and examine them. And number 4, always save before you spend. Always save before you spend. And number 5, you must have a financial plan, and you must have an investment plan. Forgive me. You must develop an investment plan. And number 6, you should stop trying to get rich quickly. You should stop trying to get rich quickly. And the last one, allow God to be the foundation of your wealth. These are the 7 golden rules. And I believe that if you follow this rule very, very promptly, God even reveal more than that I just said, and you're going to have rest for your soul. So these are the 7 golden rules everybody must follow. Our last video is starting from where you are. You are going to join my last video, and it's about your starting. Like, no matter where you are, no matter how poor, broke, rejected you are, it's actually a help for you. It's actually a hope for you, and that will our last video. So I believe you have received a value for your time, and do well to comment, like, and share, and also subscribe to this channel. And next time I come your way, we are going to see ourselves in our last 2 videos. Thank you. God bless you. Goodbye and bye for now.